y'all.
Hey, y'all.
How you been doing?
How you been doing?
Since we been on this podcast.
Yeah. I switched keys. My bad.
Yeah, you switched
What's
keys.
up?
What's up, y'all? What's up? We back with another episode of What the Marriage Is This? I'm your host, Shirley Dago Matthews, and we here with my co-hosts.
And husband.
And lover friend.
Yes, Vince W. Matthews. You better believe it.
We here.
Listen, we are, we took a break. Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. We just been tired.
Yeah, a lot of people, for those who not in our area, but, who do know, we had a crazy flood that happened. And so, although we were not affected, we were out serving. And we're continuing to serve. We got some things lined up this week and this weekend and everything like that, still serving and helping those victims who are affected for the flood. And so that's what we do. We love to serve.
Yes.
Serving is amazing. And
that's what we do.
So, yeah, that's kind of what
no matter what town we in, we don't care where we at. That's what we do. We serve. We serve with, what was it, Harvey?
Harvey.
Yeah, I think it was Harvey. We was in Conroe and we served. That's what we did.
Yeah.
We couldn't help but to serve.
Because it's in our heart.
It's in our heart.
We love to serve.
Yeah. So we here with the icebreaker. He trying to take over my show. Okay. But we here with the icebreaker. Let me see the phone.
Okay. We got this from we seen this, and so we wanted to take it. We thought it was pretty funny to talk about to start it up. So this or that.
Yeah, this our icebreaker.
Or would you rather?
Would you rather?
Would you rather?
Okay. Would you rather have a set of twins, well behaved, or one child that is horrible?
Okay, so let's talk levels on this. Let's talk how bad is the one child? Like
this one child, he cries or she cries all night long. They doesn't go to sleep. They tear up the whole entire house. They don't want to eat their food. They
disobedient.
They disobedient.
They talk back.
They disobedient. They talk back. They don't do nothing that you tell them to do. They when you go out to the stores, they fall out every single time you go out to the stores.
Well, you know what? If they fall out, I'm gonna leave that child right where it's at.
So, would you rather want that one child that is horrible or a set of twins that's well behaved?
I say I want the one kid that's horrible. That's horrible. Cause you know why? Cause if I can put that child in line, right? And if I'm not able to, I'll give my child away, and then I won't have any kids.
Oh Lord.
I'm done.
I'm going with the set of twins that's well behaved.
You would.
Because it's going to be, the reason why I say I'm going with the twins that are well behaved, because it's going to be easy to take care of them, especially if they well behaved. They do everything I tell them to do. They really good set of twins. That's going to be easy to take care of.
That's true, because you can have help around the house.
Right. I feel like, like with Nala and Natalie, I feel like I had twins. They was well behaved. They just cried a lot.
They was
very well behaved. Yeah, but they just cried a lot. So yes, I feel like I pretty much raised a set of twins that was well behaved.
So what would you rate them at now on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 being the highest, 1 being
We're
the
not gonna talk about that. And that was our dryer.
Yeah,
that just went off in the background.
I don't know if y'all heard that was our dryer.
Yeah,
we washing them clothes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we took a break and we really haven't had time to really even talk about what we usually plan out. But we had some ideas that we were bouncing around. And my wife asked me, she was like, what you want to talk about? And so today's topic is talking about insecurities. So I'm going to let y'all know up front. I might be teary-eyed on this one.
Oh, Lord.
Just to let y'all know, your boy might get a little, talking about this. Oh, so I was talking about insecurities because that's just something I struggle with personally. Mm-hmm. even as a child, I told you when I, told you how shy I was. A lot of people can't believe that now because I talk so much. I'm in front of people a lot, doing different things and public speaking and teaching and preaching and leading worship and all that good stuff like that. But I was really, really, really shy, and like I had real bad skin, and I didn't want to be seen by people if I liked the girl or whatever. I try to find some way to try to, I used to write notes, little poems, you know what I'm saying? The sweetest cotton candy and prettiest pie.
Lord, he ain't write me a poem, y'all.
I love you forever until the day I die. Huh?
I said I didn't get that type of poem.
I didn't have to give you a poem because I knew I had you. Anyway,
I guess.
Yeah, you here, right? You here, right?
Could you put a ring on it?
Huh?
Could you put a ring on it?
Whatever, man.
Only reason why. You put a ring on it.
Whatever. I wanted to say something, but I ain't gonna say it. I'll tell you off camera. Okay. Amen. But no, I always struggle with being insecure. But you know what the crazy thing about it is? The crazy thing about it is that everybody, I'm real big in church. I'm real active in church. Always been a part of church. Love serving God's people. Just love serving, period, like we were talking about. But no matter how many people say, your sermon was good, or you're very creative, or even you say some certain things, like, babe, you did good on the house or whatever, I'm always looking for that but.
Yeah, he's.
I'm always looking for.
You're very hard on yourself. Yeah. Like you shouldn't be so hard on yourself, because it feel like once it feel like we thank you, we tell you that you did a good job. I don't think that you should look for that. But even though it may be a but that comes behind it, but you should always look at what's the best thing that I have that you have that I have told you. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at like the bigger picture of what I've told you and not always focus on the negative.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, let's say I'm up doing a presentation, or I'm preaching or something in the front, or I'm leading worship. It'll be everybody getting into it. Yeah, going it out. That's why we went back and forth to try to figure out we were gonna do it tonight because of this right here. She didn't get her nap.
I didn't get a nap.
She was ripping and running today.
Yes.
But everybody could be into it, whether it's worship, whether it's preaching, or whatever. And there's one person in the audience that's not. I don't see nobody. I see one person that's not into it, because it goes into my insecurities of feeling like I'm not enough and everything like that. And I still struggle with that, man. No matter how many accolades or high fives or hugs or fist bumps I get, I'm the most insecure man in the room. Still.
Yeah.
Because I'm always thinking about, or if I'm preaching or singing or something, if I sing, or I'm thinking about the bad note I hit, not all how amazing the worship service was. Or if I'm preaching, I'm thinking about all the stuff I forgot to say, or all the words I fumbled out, instead of like people came to Christ because God used the message to get to them.
Right.
So it affects us in our marriage. Not as much as it used to, but still, it still does, because of my insecurities that I struggle with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, but I think like there's nothing wrong with having some insecurities, but like your insecurities now we've been married for 6 years, and we was dating for 2 years, right?
I don't know. Shirley,
a year, 2 years. I can't remember, but we was dating for a minute, and he always did have those insecurities. But I always been trying to tell him like, hey, it's okay to be insecure about some stuff, but not everything you need to be hard on yourself about. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what you was just saying, you don't need to be hard on yourself about that. And my grandma left me a voicemail. No. But yeah, you don't have to be hard on yourself a lot. I mean, you know that you did it good. If you know that you did it good, then I don't think that you should worry about what anybody else says. Yeah. So,
but like I said, a lot of times it's not what people say.
Yeah, it's just what you think.
It's the insecurities that's
Right.
like speaking on my behalf. You know, and then of course, you know, insecurities that just go basically into the enemy. That's all it is. And saying you're not good enough, you're not this or whatever. And I put this in my phone, man. I wanted to read this. It said, a lot of times we feel unworthy of good things or good people in our lives, so we sabotage the good to experience the bad that we feel we deserve. That's crazy.
Good.
Yeah, it's something. It's a psychology term that they say what that is. But then you operate a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's just basically, you know how like they say, speak those things that are not of those they were. So if you continue to speak in your insecurities, you let, like I said, you let your insecurities speak on your behalf, then you're gonna speak those things into existence, basically.
Right.
So I believe a lot of things I went through in my life, or even things that I'm struggling with or going through at this time, is because I feel like I bought into it. You know what I'm saying? I spoke into it, and now I'm trying to detox and retrain myself and try to take those words back. But you know, you can't take the words back, but what you can do is reprogram your mind and
Correct.
direct your attention to something else. You know, when I was doing counseling, that's what my counselor was saying. She said, you have to see yourself as the creator sees you. You know what I'm saying? If you know, a GMC truck, know it's a GMC truck. If it had everybody know a GMC truck is every Cadillac know it's a Cadillac. Everybody know a Cadillac is a Cadillac because of the name that it carries on there.
Right.
So if we're operating and carrying the name of insecurities, then we're gonna continue to operate in that. You know. So. Why you ain't saying nothing? You just
No,
listening.
I'm listening. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, but I want you to talk, baby.
What else you want me to talk about?
Oh my God! All right, I'm gonna just start reading stuff off.
That's good though.
But I'm gonna read. Go ahead. What you got?
Nothing. You ain't asked me what was my insecurities. You pretty much told everybody what was yours.
Well, I was going.
Go ahead.
What's your insecurity?
Go ahead. You got your topics and stuff.
Yeah, this my topic today.
Okay, go
so
ahead.
I'm in control. But go ahead. What is your insecurity?
Go ahead.
No, what's your insecurities? I want to know.
Oh, okay. My insecurities is when people call me baby. Like when people call me their little girl.
I call you baby. Yeah. Oh yeah.
But anyways,
oh God!
But when people call me like their little baby or you know their little girl, you know, I always felt so that's my biggest insecurity. Like you know, well, how do I look? Do I look the part or do I look grown enough? You know, like how do my makeup look? Or I always ask my husband, like, if I dress like this, dress like this, I put my makeup on, do my hair, and I'm like, okay, how old do I look? If he say 20, if he always say 7.
What's my favorite number?
You look your age.
No. So you look 12.
Yeah, you look 12. And that makes me go change though. Even though, you know, sometimes he be joking
and I gotta
or whatever.
Stop that because that's a weakness you have.
Right, but even though like he be just joking or whatever, but it's still like, okay, no, there's no time for a joke. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's like my biggest, you know, insecurity that I do have. You know,
I struggle with that too. You know, I'm the youngest of my family.
We both are.
We're the baby of my baby family, so I struggle with that sometimes when people say my baby brother. I'm the youngest.
But that's like,
you know.
Yeah, but he don't.
I think that's what you call it, youngest the family syndrome or something like that.
Yeah, maybe
we always feel like we gotta fight to the top because we the last one.
Maybe
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
That may be it.
Yeah,
it has something to do with that. Yeah, I ain't really. I just thought of that.
It probably is.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about this too. I brought it to your attention in conversation, and I don't know if I said it recently, but I always said, "Oh man, okay." Woof. I'm trying to say it without. I always said that because of my insecurities, how I feel about myself, I always felt like that you would maybe go out and like cheat or whatever. Not because you didn't love me, but because like eventually you would get tired of my insecurities, because you said you gotta stop talking like that. You gotta stop doing that. You said that's unattractive. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking maybe one day like you would cheat on me just so we wouldn't have to be together, or you know what I'm saying. And I would, and I thought that maybe at a point, because I feel like I haven't got to a level of where I want to be in life. Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe I would cheat, not because I didn't love you, but because so that way you could just finally just like, I'm done, and then I'd be like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about disappointing her or the kids anymore.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, well, everybody know that I ain't going nowhere. Yeah, everybody already know that. But sometimes I do tell him, like, hey, you got to stop. Like, you got to stop talking. You got to stop talking negative. And we was just talking about, like, our husbands, you know, about, you know, how, like, they negativity or whatever, you know. And she always say, well, hey, sis, you need to just walk away. You know, like, take your kids, go somewhere, and just walk away. Because sometimes they talk. I'm not talking about all men, but some men do have this. It's a lot of like men that has like a wife or whatever, and they want to make sure that their wife and stuff is good and make sure that they get whatever they want. But it's not about what we want. You know what I'm saying? It's not about what we want. It's about what we need.
Well, but you know
what we need right now.
You know, in the man's point of view, you can't. It's just like certain things we'll never understand. Like we'll never understand the effects of childbirth. We'll never be able to understand that. You know, we put the little waist thing on and stuff like that, but we'll never think about the psychological effect, the emotional effects, and the physical effects. All of that. We'll never. All we can do is just you need some water, or you need a towel, or whatever. You need to turn the fan on, or whatever. We can accommodate you as much as we can, but we'll never ever be able to feel the effects. Same thing with a woman never be able to feel the effects of man, because a lot of times a lot of the insecurities comes from unrealistic expectations by society, by ourselves. I gotta be the man, I gotta hold this down. I mean, that's true to an extent, but when you put that much pressure on a situation that you're already in that you don't like, you give yourself a chance that you're not even gonna win. Like you don't give yourself a chance to win that fight, because even say this is an expectation, and I get that. Guess what? Every time I do that, I'm just keep raising it up, and those expectations just gonna keep
right.
going.
So, but that's what I'm saying though. I don't think that you should have an expectation. Because
I get what you're saying, but yeah.
Because like you just said, once you get to that expectation, it's gonna raise it up. Once you get to that expectation, so it's gonna feel like you could never succeed.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you don't have an expectation, you don't have to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's good to have an expectation, but we need to set a long-term goal instead of a short-term goal.
Short-term too.
It's good to set. It's good. Yeah, it's good to set a short-term goal, but it's very good to set a long-term goal, because once you succeed, you know, it takes steps to succeed that long-term goal.
It's like I just kind of like to do like small and big goals. Like my small goal is this.
Right. Well,
it's to be. Let's just say, for instance, my small term goal. Let's say to play basketball or whatever. My small term goal is to be known in my city. Boom. All right, I did that. My another goal after that is to be known in my my surrounding areas, my community, all over my city. Maybe then next in the state, then next on the side of town. I mean, the side of the coast I stay on, and then maybe the world, and then maybe globally. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So just maybe those small steps that lead you. Would say taking those small steps to get, you see the mountain, but don't say I'm gonna get to that top one day. Instead of that, you just take it step by step, and eventually those small steps will lead you to the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but
I agree.
But yeah, another thing too is the comparison thing. I do that a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a quote I heard that said, "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Yeah.
And when you can continually compare yourself, because sometimes when you admire some people, it's cool to look and get and reflect from them. But when sometimes we make a god out of them, not knowing that we're doing that, and we feel like, oh, this person did it this way, or I could do it this. Even when we, take references from the Bible, like Peter and Paul or whatever, or even Jesus himself. What we do is we compare ourselves to them. What you looking at? I got something on my head.
No, I'm looking at you. Right.
Oh, my head's shining. I know my head's shining.
Everybody can see that your head's shining. Okay?
I know there's nothing up there. Okay. You so sleepy. Your eyes are red. We're gonna cut it short for you. We're gonna cut it short for you.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah, but that's true. Like, you do compare a lot. And I always have to tell him, hey, it ain't, you don't need to be comparing yourself to that. You have to think about, because, listen, I see him comparing himself a lot to people that's on Facebook. They see.
Well, the influencers,
but it's crazy it's crazy because you never know what's happening behind the scenes, behind that phone or behind that computer. They put on this. Some people put on this big old show. I'm not gonna say everybody, but some people put on this big old show for Facebook, but going through behind the scenes. Like, some people look like they have all this money. Some people look like they got gas in their car. Some people look like they 4 tires not on flat. But they, they flex for all this Facebook and stuff, but they not being real. So I say sometimes we don't need to look at what they go through. We need to focus on ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess because like I said, you look at them as inspiration. And they may be doing some of the same stuff that you want to do, and so you kind of take things from a model, or, like I'm a studier, and I'll sit up on YouTube or whatever, or YouTube University and learn different things. Even the stuff that we doing now, I learned, just watching and stuff like that and soaking it in or whatever. And so, but I get what you're saying, because like I said, you can admire somebody so much that you almost want to become them, and then I heard somebody say I think it was a preacher saying it. It's like we compare our anyway, we compare our own stage. We compare our behind the scenes to their own stage, something like that. So like if you go to a production or whatever, it's chaos. If you look at a big production, backstage it's crazy, but on stage it's just flowing.
It's smooth. Right.
Like you said, behind the scenes.
Right. So that's why I always just try to tell you that I don't think that we should always compare ourselves to other people. We focus on ourselves. We focus on the Matthews crew and go from there, because like I said, you just never know what happened behind that phone or behind that computer or whatever they own. Yep. You just never know what happened. So.
Yep. So, because I know you're sleepy, and I'm going to let you go.
Yeah,
a few more minutes, and it's going to be another short episode, but we'll make it up. We're going to try to get y'all another episode for this week, double up, since we didn't miss, 2 weeks? 1 week, 2 weeks?
A week.
No, 2 weeks, huh?
A week.
The last one we posted was the 3rd.
Okay, one.
2 weeks. This will make 3. So, we are behind, but we bringing y'all, hopefully we get y'all 2 episodes in a week. And I got to let this young lady go to bed. Because, we're going to have to do a part 2 to this.
Okay.
And close it out. Well, we have to do part 2 to this. But I want to read this. It says, sometimes the emotions of the day can override or suffocate the commitment of the marriage.
That's good.
That's good, ain't it?
Yeah.
So sometimes the things that we're going through actually works against what it is that you're trying to do it for. Like, you want to be successful, you want to do this, you want to get money, or you want to have stability, get out of debt or whatever, and you're so focused on that you forget why it is that you're doing. We talked about this before, why you're doing it.
Yeah, but sometimes I think sometimes that we need to unplug. Put some of that stuff aside and focus on our marriage, because really truly, if we focus on what's due, or what's about to come up, or what's happening in our life, if we always focus on that or we always bring that up, I don't think our marriage could ever work.
We all we got.
Right, exactly.
So at the end of the day, you know, if you lose everything, your house, your apartment, your cars and stuff like that, you still married.
Right.
But if you're not working on, if you worried about that and you lose that, but you don't have your marriage, then you ain't got nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Then you divorced or
bitter
or just together because of kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for us.
Yeah.
We're not in that position.
No.
But a cycle of keep on doing it, you'll find yourself in that, and like, how in the world did we get here?
Right.
How we staying in separate households? How that happen?
Yeah.
How come my kids don't even like me? How that, you know, or I don't even know my kids? How that happen?
Right.
And insecurities will eat you alive if you don't address them. And
I do agree.
Talking, you know, having that effective communication and talking and say, babe, I'm feeling like this.
Right.
Even if you don't know why.
But you know, sometimes I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like, this is what the marriage is. We telling the truth. Me and Vince, we can't communicate about a lot of stuff. You know, we can't communicate about a lot of stuff. But sometimes, even when we do ask, well, what's wrong with you? Or what's the matter? Is nothing wrong. But I think that it's bad that we do not communicate. You know what I'm saying? We still working on that, y'all.
I mean, but we do better because sometimes
we are trying to do better.
Maybe later that day, or maybe the next day or something.
Even though we're supposed to hold it in, you know.
We'll talk eventually. But yeah, it's something we have to talk about. And like I said, we ain't some gurus, or a lot of times when we're talking about a topic, we're still walking that thing out and continually working through it.
Right.
So, you know, if you want to look at a model marriage, this ain't it. We walking through that thing. In each marriage, you grow with each other, you learn more about each other, and you continue to grow in God, you grow with each other. And you know.
But I think also, once you have God inside your marriage, everything will fall in place. God told me to say that. Put God inside your marriage and everything will fall in place.
That's true.
Trust me.
But you know what the thing about it is? Once everything starts to fall in place, you need to make sure you take care of the stuff that's in the right place.
Amen.
That was good.
We preaching on here.
That's good. All right, I'm going to close out with this. I already know the answer, but it's funny. Coffee or tea?
For me?
Yeah.
Neither.
You know you like coffee.
I like coffee
if this cold,
sometimes.
Or would it be cold or what?
That
stuff you be getting from Starbucks?
I like the Starbucks coffee. I like the Grande Vanilla Bean Frappuccino.
That's coffee?
It's like a coffee, yeah.
That's coffee.
Okay, it's coffee.
Coffee
so, yeah,
tea?
I would prefer coffee.
All right, then.
And not no nasty tea.
Tea is amazing.
Tea is nasty.
You can coat your throat, you know, you be speaking or whatever, you teaching or whatever, you get that throat coat, and it will protect you like a wool linen blanket.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know what that is. But.
Wow. But I prefer coffee. Okay? If I have to choose one, coffee or tea, I would prefer coffee.
You know what else I choose?
What?
You. I'm trying to give me some brownie points so we can close this thing out right. Amen. That was actually my notes. It was so.
That boy crazy. Oh, I choose you too. Sorry, I messed it up.
Yeah, you did. You messed it up,
baby.
Yeah.
I choose you too. Rub your hair.
Stop. You better stop. All right, y'all. Oh, you close us out, man, because I got to get you.
Okay, y'all. So it's been another episode with What the Marriages Is.
You
Remember? Yes, I got to get you in the bed.
I got to get you in the bed.
This boy crazy. 8:22, y'all. But y'all, it's been another episode of What the Marriages Is. Remember, I'm your host, Shirley Dago Matthews, and we were here with the co-host
and husband.
See how you do
W Matthews. You always don't never put that in, man.
Everybody know you my husband.
But you need to make that known.
Everybody know.
But you know, some people listen to this to audio though. So it's just voices, so they don't see us. Some people.
Everybody know you my husband.
If
we on What the Marriage Is This, I'm here with just anybody.
No, you can have a co-host who's not your husband.
If we on the thing of What the Marriage Is This, we gonna be here with
my
co-host,
that is
husband Vincent W. Wayne Matthews the Fifth.
You want to close out?
Good night.
Song? You want to close out with the song that you opened up with?
Hey y'all.
Hey y'all.
How you been doing? Since this podcast is over.
Ooh.
Hey y'all. How you been doing? Since this podcast is over.
Ooh, everybody clap.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
1, 2, 3. All right,
Good
y'all.
night.
What the
This
marriage
is What the Marriage Is This.
We out.